All right, what is up, everybody, and welcome into this week's edition of the South Florida Comedy Calendar. We are coming to you live right here on a Monday from the Black Studio in South Miami with the community newspapers. My name is Sebastian Alvarez. I am a local comedian, and I work over at the Miami Improv on a day-to-day basis when I'm not doing that stand-up. And I am joined today not only by a really cool guest, but also by my good friend and co-host, as he is every single week, Art Roach. How you doing today, Art?
Sebi, we had that live Yay listening party. That song Cousins is not what I thought it was about.
Yeah. I also thought that an invitation to a Kanye early listening party would be something fun and kind of exciting. I'd seen clips of it before with like a bunch of celebrities and they were all like dressed the same and it was a lot of fun. It looked like a great party, but Cousins, if I had to give it a review, I would say 2.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's catchy. I mean, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it.
I can't stop thinking about it, but not for the right, yeah.
Right, the imagery, it's powerful imagery. Mm-hmm. But yeah, not the fun song I thought Kanye was releasing for the summer.
Yeah, but then he tweeted it, and now everyone can go listen to it. So if you want to review it yourself, you can go on Kanye's Twitter.
Shout out Julian.
His ex. Shout out Julian, yeah.
Julian, Ghost of Julian Alvarez on Instagram.
Exactly.
Yeah, he led the listening party, and he cried, I think, for part of it.
He cried most of it.
Yeah.
Most of it. Yeah.
So.
Shout out to Julian, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Julian. Anyway, guys, this week is a really, really fun show because we have a very special guest. I think you may be the furthest traveler to be on the show so far. So our boy came all the way from West Palm, correct?
No, I came from Coral Springs.
Even further.
Yeah.
That's right.
I come in and I see the professional studio and everything. I'm like, these guys are really on point. And these guys are like, oh, and you live in Alabama. No,
It might as well be for us.
Yeah.
Clap it up for our boy, Jon Schaefer. Everybody.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I'll send the Venmo later.
Listen, once you get to America by crossing the Broward County Line Road, like you guys might as well all live in New York for us.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
You're all in Clearwater. You might as well be.
It was almost an hour and definitely worth it. I'll say that.
Great.
Looking forward to this. You guys run the best show, the best podcast.
Thank you.
Everyone talks about you guys out all the way in Kentucky where I drove all the way from.
Heck yeah. At the Derby, they're talking about us at the
That's
Derby.
right.
They're big hats.
That's
Well,
right.
he-
Man, I feel so blessed.
Which out there, now that, Kanye's talked about the whole cousin thing, Kanye is so much bigger now in Alabama.
Yeah, he's killing it right now.
killing it out
That song's topping the charts on the Bama Billboard charts.
Well, I used to say that there's nothing Ye could do to make me drop support for him. Last week he did it. He figured it out.
He found it?
Yeah, he found it.
He
He
figured
found
it
the right combination of words to use. That
He's like a chat bot. He's just eventually going to put it together in a way that makes sense to you. That's awesome. That's awesome. But no, John, we're really excited to have you on. You do a bunch of things, not just in the comedy realm, in the entertainment and the creative fields. I mean, in almost all of them. So we're going to get into all of that once we interview him. But we're going to start off with a little bit of a recap from last week in South Florida comedy because we were jam-packed from start to finish. And this week is also jam-packed, so we got to get through it. The first thing that happened last week that we are super, super proud of and super excited that we will also be continuing it is Berries in the Grove, guys. Cafecito Comedy put on another Berries show on a Thursday, and this was probably our best one yet. What a phenomenal lineup of comics that were able to go up, man. I hosted. We had Ashvin Singhal was able to get out there and do a set. We had Oscar Diaz who came out and was able to do his first Cafecito Comedy show, so big shout out to Oscar. He was fantastic and absolutely destroyed. We had Dom P go up of Have Not, and Ellie Rodriguez closed it out. So you guys, if you didn't go to that Barry show, you missed a good one because it was jam-packed with the lineup and also it was full of people. We actually, before you get into that, have a video from the actual show. So if we could just play that really quick.
A flight risk. I don't know what happened, but I am happy to be here. I'm happy I came out because I see a lot.
All right. As you can see in that clip, guys, Barry's was full of people. Some came out for the comics, and a lot came out through our social media promotion, guys. That is one way that if you are looking to see whenever we are doing shows, not only at Barry's, but all across South Florida through Cafecito Comedy, you guys got to go on Instagram right now and follow Cafecito Comedy, because there's going to be way more to come, not only from Barry's, which we absolutely love, but also throughout town. So definitely keep us on your Instagram feed. Keep them notifications on Cafecito Comedy, guys. Really, really fun and dope stuff.
And I want to give you some flowers, man. That day you actually flew in from Cincinnati.
Nope.
I mean, from Cleveland. Excuse me, Cleveland.
Yep.
From Alabama.
From Bama.
Somewhere up in America.
Yeah. I did also, yes, go to Cleveland last week on an incognito, like, secret spy trip where I, as a Heat fan with my best friend from high school, Gavin Morales, we both dipped up there to go watch the Miami Heat play the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland, in Cleveland's arena. Yeah. We were set up with amazing club seat passes by the staff from the Cleveland Cavaliers, someone from the player relation organization, part of the organization, I mean, and it was incredible. It was really good, but I did book that trip completely forgetting that I did have Barry's on Thursday. So I'm glad I booked an early flight back home on that Thursday, because if not, Ashvin, you would have been hosting. Yeah. But I was able to go out there and flying from Cleveland, literally flew in at 5:30 in the afternoon, drove home, and then changed, showered, and shot right over to Barry's.
And shout out to all the fans that, participated in the little game you played.
Oh yeah, the guessing game.
Yeah, on your stories and stuff.
One person got it right, and they were like, "Wow, you went all the way to Cleveland to watch them get spanked," which they didn't get spanked. They did lose, but they didn't get spanked. But yeah, one person out of like I think it was like almost like 14, 15 guesses. Yeah, it was really.
I thought for sure you went to visit Diddy in prison, but whatever.
I don't have that kind of clearance.
Yeah, true.
Come on, if I did, maybe. But yeah, that was Barry's in the Grove, guys. Also, huge shout out to Barry's, man. We absolutely cannot shout out the space, the staff, and the venue enough. Everything from the DJ that we work with, everybody who's been our servers and management staff out there at Barry's, man. Really, they always lay out the red carpet for us, and they've turned that space completely into a comedy club when we are in there. The sound, the light, everything is top notch, man, and we couldn't be happier with the partnership and looking forward to more shows, bigger shows out there in the future. So also go follow Barry's on social media and get out there and eat some amazing food, because they got some of the best food in town.
Amen.
At Barry's. Last week though, also at the Miami Improv, we had a really cool show that came through somebody that you may have seen, maybe not on the stand-up stage before, but on Netflix, on your screen. Jonathan Van Ness, famously for being one of the 5 members of the Queer Eye guys who are on the Netflix show Queer Eye. One of the most popular shows that Netflix has, really, really super incredible, that he came down and was able to perform the entire weekend for the Miami Improv, and had an opener that we love, that we really respect, and that's Anna Lepley. Dr. Anna Lepley, she was able to open up at the Miami Improv for Jonathan all weekend, and both of them killed all weekend.
I'll tell you, Sebi, I didn't know anything about Jonathan Van Ness. You had mentioned a couple of times. Ben mentioned it, I think, on the podcast, and I didn't know. But I saw like the how crazy the fans were. We had a couple of canceled shows last year, and this weekend, actually seeing the show, seeing the quality, of the comedy, but then getting to hang out backstage and meet a little bit. I see why people are such rabid fans. I mean,
I'd assume that everyone came out to see Dr. Anna Lepley.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care who else is on the show. I never watched Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. That's why I dress like this. But Dr.
You could be a candidate for the show.
They would do something with his hair.
Yeah, they do wonders with you.
Any percentage improvement would be noticeable.
For sure.
Put me on a treadmill, get me a haircut. Yeah, that would work. No, Dr. Anna Lepley, you guys were saying, if you like anybody, shout them out. Love Dr. Anna Lepley. She came out and rocked Circus Bar a couple of weeks ago, and
cool.
It's an open mic over there, but I book headliners to come in, and she knocked it out of the park. People have been and it's, it doesn't look like the place where they would love someone like her, and they ask me about her every week since she left.
That's cool. And I love Anna especially because she is always hustling the merch, man. That is so cool to see a comic that is so relentless with that, man. It's something that I think all comics, even if it's not merch, like you got to find your niche. You got to find that little thing that you do to separate yourself. And I love that every single show, like I've never seen Anna not lugging around a box of merch, and she's like at the Improv, she carried it up a flight of stairs, probably from the garage, but she knows that like that's what's important when you're being a professional comedian. You're touring, you're getting your name out there, you're building a brand for yourself. That is so important, and I respect that a lot about her. And I mean, you can't teach that kind of hustle.
Yeah.
You know.
She's one of the ones that's doing all the things
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
The way that she's
Well, she's a
toured-
doctor.
Yeah, and
so.
she's
Yeah.
if you're trying to like be a comedian, do what comics do, or get to that level, watch her, watch what she does, and just try and emulate that. That's someone like her, Mark Christopher, See No Evil. Those are the people that I look at and I say, that's who I want to be.
Yeah.
I want to be
You mean like how well?
blind and black. That would be
You mean
great.
how
Or
well
a
she picks up
lesbian.
chicks?
And believe it or
Yes.
not, actually, speaking of Anna Lepley, and that just reminded me as well. I'm calling an audible right here on the comedy calendar. I'm doing an impromptu recap. Shout out to The Bend that happened last week on
Oh, true.
Wednesday. Man, we didn't put it here on the calendar, but I did just remember, as you mentioned it, that show did happen. Anna was on that show. Grace Kelly was on that show, ran by Mike Dab and Matt Vallent. I believe Madeline Morell was on that show. Our boy Mark was also on there doing a spot too. So they had a really, really dope lineup out at The Bend, and I heard the crowd was incredible. They filled that place out, and they got more shows coming up. So definitely follow Matt Vallent and Mike Daba, the two guys that are collaborating and running that show. The Bend is happening like once a month, right? I think.
I mean, they've moved around the days a little bit, so keep up to date. But they're trying to do it every week if they can.
Oh, that's fantastic, man. I love to hear that because we need more rooms like that are super dope. I heard the setup was incredible. So huge shout out to you guys. Keep killing it, man.
Well, and-
Anytime you guys have a show, we're going to be shouting it out right here on the calendar.
And the Bend is right by my house.
That's true.
I was there last week at some point and actually met Andy from Hell, which is one of the other hosts that hosts trivia there.
Cool.
He was doing WWE trivia that day.
Yeah, I heard the night that they had the show, they had a spelling bee right after the show as well. So it was super cool. You can go and there's a variety of entertainment there. You can go watch a comedy show and you might get karaoke. You might get there's a bunch of stuff to do there at the Bend. So it's always a dope spot to hit up.
Asking wrestling fans to join a spelling bee. I don't know. That's an interesting idea.
It's only initials. It's like
It's
spell
only-
FBI.
AJ Styles, but just the
Spell
AJ part.
WWE.
Yeah.
Spell W.
That's about the extent of the spelling bee that will be happening. But no, big shout out to the Ben Man and all those guys out there. Super, super dope seeing cool and amazing spots pop up that are new and innovative and something that we can learn from, and kind of we've been bringing on producers who, like we've said on past interviews, are the shining light, the example of how people who want to open rooms should be opening them. And definitely the Bend is looking like one of those rooms, guys. So definitely get out there and check it out. And the last part of last week's update happened last night, guys. And it was, it kind of came out of nowhere. I don't think anybody was expecting how amazing last night at the Miami Improv was. We had our Easter competition over at the Miami Improv. On the line was $300. You got a food and beverage voucher at the Miami Improv, and you also got a free guest spot at any new faces you'd like at the Miami Improv. You can come through and do a guest spot, whatever one you choose, and you got a Miami Improv t-shirt. That's what was on the line last night with all those comics competing. We had about 15 comics, and I, last minute, found out that I was going to be running the show from behind the glass. I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to kind of put together the lineup, set everything up, and we had our boy Art right here hosting the show. So it was a bit of a comedy calendar takeover of the
big shout out Ellie
contest.
Rodriguez.
Yeah.
the usual showrunner. If she asked me, well, she didn't. I couldn't have picked a better person to run in her stead. And the show went super smooth, man. I mean, everybody was on point. Everyone that participated did their time well. Grace Kelly did a guest spot. Ashvin Singal did a guest spot. He was actually working, serving food, running around.
Julian did a guest spot.
Julian did a guest spot while working as well, which was pretty dope.
I went up.
Yeah, he actually helped me one time on the I-95. We'll get just...
Yeah, got you.
You'll hear more about that during his set. But yeah, it was a really amazing night, and big shout out to Dart Vision. Obviously, he was there capturing everything and making us all look good. So we have a picture from the whole night.
Yeah.
And then did you announce who won already?
No. I was getting into that. So we have that picture. That's the group picture. But our winner of the evening, I was able to do a little post-game interview with him. If we could set up that video. I interviewed our winner of the evening, Rolando Gomez. And this clip right here, I know it's going to go up on your socials, Rolando. This is your formal invitation onto the comedy calendar. You let us know what Monday you have available, because as a 3-time now winner of contests at the Miami Improv, you have absolutely earned your spot.
yeah.
And anybody else who wins, if you win 3 contests, you get an automatic invitation onto the show. But we also want to extend it because Rolando is honestly one of the funniest comics down here in South Florida. Always love it when I watch him go on stage, and always love it when I show up to a spot and I see that he's there. I'm like, yo, yes,
and he has my credit card still from last night.
and he has your credit card. That is true. So we got to pick that up. But huge shout out to Rolando Gomez, man. And really, really quickly, let's just get to this interview. For you right now, man, we got the winner of our Easter competition here at the Miami Improv, man. And this guy is no stranger to winning competitions at the Miami Improv. This is his 3rd win here. He won the turkey contest this latest November, correct? Yeah. He won, he was a finalist, one of the finalists for Florida's Funniest, so that he won the competition here for that. And then tonight, you just won $300. Yes, you got a free food and bev package with the Miami Improv, a guest set at any new faces of your choice, and a Miami Improv t-shirt. Yep. That's what you won tonight. You were the champ, man. What do you got to say? How was the crowd? How was your night?
It was electric. You know, the crowd was amazing. I love the Improv. The Improv is like the best place to do comedy in Miami. It was a tough one though, I ain't gonna lie. You know, usually to these bringer shows, everybody has a bias immediately. So to like win and get them on my side was just everything for me. You know?
Man. No, and by far, you getting off stage, everyone kind of knew you had one of the best sets of the night by far, especially of the people competing. Your set was so good, I literally capitalized and piggybacked right off of what you were saying, and it made my set pop completely. And it was just so much fun, dude, man. You were amazing tonight, absolutely deserving of the W today. You're going to keep coming through and probably winning these competitions, man. But if you haven't yet, go follow Rolando Gomez on Instagram, guys. He's one of the funniest comics down here in South Florida. You definitely want to check him out and keep up to date. That is the update right here at the Miami Improv from the Easter competition for the comedy calendar. Fantastic, man. And honestly, huge shout out to everybody who performed on that New Faces show. Contest, Easter contest show, because everybody brought their A game, man. When I saw the lineup and the people who had signed up when I got there, I knew it was going to be fantastic, but I thought everybody did really good in their spot. Everybody rose to the occasion, and it led to a really amazing show where at the end, you don't see this very often, but most of the crowd had stayed there the whole time. We had almost 200 people there for that show. Yeah. So anybody who came out, we shouted this out last week saying you guys should sign up. We said, guys, get on there, sign up, make sure you can get on because it's going to be a fun show, and it really was. You're going to have pictures now coming out by Dart very soon. He was able to capture the event like we said, but all the comics now we're going to start posting. You're going to start seeing kind of what the experience is that you missed. So again, guys, remember, if you ever see a contest like that at the Miami Improv, you want to sign up months in advance, like a few months earlier. As the first time it hits the page, or the first time we mentioned it here on Comedy Calendar, you definitely want to give it a shout out. Yeah. Have you ever done a New Faces over at the Improvs?
Yeah, I did New Faces at least a couple of times over the past few years, and they're always fun shows. You know, you bring out your friends, you bring out your family. You find out who really likes you, and then you get on stage and tell them jokes. So it's a good time.
Nice.
I always, if you're doing stand-up comedy, you got to get on the Improv, and New Faces is a real opportunity for anyone that wants to do this or enjoys doing this or wants to find out if they suck.
True.
So what does it mean when your friends and family refuse to come to your shows and you always have to beg strangers?
Or
pay for escorts?
It means that it means that I don't know, you got to start doing nicer things. Start asking people how their birthday was and crap, because you got to.
Everybody has a birthday?
Everyone has a birthday.
Every year?
It's not just you.
God.
Yeah.
I'll just get funnier, forget.
Yeah.
That doesn't always work either. I mean, you can be funny as you want, but you know, you have to do your promotion, get people out there.
How did Justin Bieber do it? I'll do it however he did it.
Well, he hung out with Diddy. That's how he did it. So.
Yeah. That's how Diddy did it. Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Diddy can get 10 people to the Improv right now.
So. Yes, King. Absolutely. Moving on to this week, though, in South Florida comedy, guys, we have a jam-packed week of shows, and we're going first off on Monday at 10 p.m. I am super excited for this show. I won't be there, unfortunately, but you definitely want to go out to Bar Nancy, guys, because the Spare TV Live boys are going to be putting together something that is really, really special. They're going to be doing a live component to their Spare TV clips. So we've seen and we've put up here a few times. They've been putting together some really funny sketches. They've been putting together some really, really amazing content online. If you haven't followed them already, go right now onto Instagram and go to Spare TV Live. You'll see their page. Give them a follow, because not only will they have this amazing content coming out, but as you see now, they're going to be doing live events and live shows that is going to be in tandem with the brand. So if you guys want to not only just see it on your phone, but get through the screen and actually feel and interact and get to know what these guys' comedy is like in person, you can go out to Bar Nancy tonight at 10 p.m.
And I gotta give major flowers to Joe Madero and Kevin Reyes, man.
Yep.
Like the two guys that are running Spare TV. Look,
And shout out to also like Ashvin, Felipe, Sai. Like I've seen all
Jay Milley last week brought it up.
Jay Milley as well. Yeah, everybody, all the guys are really kind of putting their infinity stones together and making something that is really, really cool.
Yeah, and,
really,
and the
really
production value is high. And like you said, they're getting people to work together, which is the hardest part. Just aligning 6 people to get together is the hardest part.
Yeah.
And one of the challenges that I, kind of set to them is like, let us shout you out, but make something dope for us to play here. So, that's one of the things. And I think they met that by sending us a clip that's,
I was going to say, right, we actually do have a clip that they sent us. So let's check that out.
Going on, Big Spender?
What's up? How you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah, I've been doing good.
Get started on these, huh? So what you been up to this year?
Quit my job recently. Quit it and started a YouTube channel. It's called Spare TV. It's gonna be absolutely amazing. We're sending a host straight to Africa.
I'll shoot myself.
It's like a comedy
Shall we interview these women?
variety show where we do like skits.
I'm Mike Chuck, and I'm Will Fucker. Can't stand when guys do this!
It's like different videos.
Es una menta.
We do like little man on the street videos. And
Guy was slick and he threw a brick at a cop's head.
You've got to be the dumbest person I know.
what?
No! Can you comment?
You don't have money.
But like it's my dream.
That is fucking stupid.
It's really them not just creating content, but making content out of what they're doing. So like I said, this Bar Nancy show is all going to be pieced together and put together with their Spare TV content. I think it's going to be really fantastic. And the more that they work at it, I see it getting better every single week. So it's definitely on the right track, man. Huge shout out to them.
and on the clip, you see they even got like Ben to work with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These guys must really have like really compromising information on all our friends
Yeah.
to be able to get them to.
true.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out how they get all these people together.
That's true.
They got the screenshots of the group chat.
Exactly. And then it's just over. It's over at that point. We have another show on Monday as well, though. This is an earlier show, though, and it's going to be up north at Circus Bar, and it is ran by our boy Jon here. Jon, when you started Circus Bar, I know you said that you kind of got in there and it was for like you were filming a movie, correct?
We were filming open mic night with Drew Illa.
Okay.
And what I had done is I had talked to the bar and I said, listen, if I could bring in a crew of people to film when you guys are dead, 10 o'clock on a Sunday, 11 o'clock on a Monday, there's no windows in the bar, so day can be night, night can be day. It saved a lot of money on production. So I kept showing up with like 10, 20 people once every couple of weeks. And then when we were finally done with filming the movie, we weren't showing up with these big groups of people when it was dead in there. And the owner, JR, he asked me, he goes, you guys have been in here with all these comics. They all know the place. Why don't you run an open mic? And that's how Put Productions got off the ground running open mics. It was not something where I was like, let me jump back into stand-up. But I was really glad that I did. It just kind of brought me back into the world that I always loved. And Circus Bar every Monday night, sign up at 8, show at 8:30, 10 minutes and a free drink.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. And so
You
that
can
is-
smoke
it's just-
indoors.
And you can smoke indoors, you can do coke in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Very Eddie's Place. I love that.
Yeah, he mentioned Eddie, how much he likes Eddie's place.
Yeah,
That's
no, that
what I
makes
was
sense.
saying.
That makes sense. That adds up.
We're the Eddies of
the
Broward.
North.
Yes, the Eddies of the North.
Eddies of the
North.
Nice. Very good. But no, that's dope. And honestly, Circus Bar is one of those mics that I've always heard about. You know what I mean? I've never gone up and actually been up there to do it, but I definitely got to head up there and check it out soon.
I call it the most dangerous open mic. We're all arts open mics. You
Okay.
never know what you're going to get. Sometimes we get really great comics. Sometimes we get some comics that are not so great. Musicians, and we get poets. We get all these magicians. We have a guy that comes in and throws fire and things like that. You never know what you're going to get at a Circus Bar show.
Nice.
So
Anybody ever piss fire? Because I don't know.
no one's ever
That'd be
pissed
cool.
fire.
I think antibiotics is okay. Yeah,
Usually the cure.
antibiotics.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. I've had that before.
Mm-hmm.
What
You-
kind of
are you
interview is
writing? Are you writing down antibiotics?
I just want to make sure I didn't
right now?
forget.
You're just making sure you don't forget.
Yeah.
Nice, very good. But dude, that's really cool to hear. And so, with an open mic like that, is it straight open mic, or are you doing a book show like prior to it as well?
No, it's every single Monday is an all arts open mic. I do sometimes book a headliner, or I book a lot of different people to host. I spread the love. You know, there's a lot of comedians that A, want their time on stage, B, want to make a little bit of money for all the work they're putting in. I mean, you do comedy for years and years and years, and maybe you'll make a couple of bucks here, a couple of bucks there, but I give out these hosting gigs where you can make a couple of bucks, tell your jokes, and get a free drink or two.
Nice.
And I really love the idea of giving performers an opportunity. You know? So
Dude, I got to try to line up a Monday where we get up there. I'll get Dart to go with me, drive him up there and do comedy calendar at the Circus Bar thing.
yeah.
We'll
come
do
on out.
Yeah, we'll do something. I'll line it up with you. That'd be cool.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit of a drive for us, but I think if we all, like, after we do the podcast, just kind of like head up there and make it a day trip kind of thing, it'd be dope.
Well, it's all the way in Alabama. So.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like, we'll have to
we'll
find
have to get our passports.
and a
Your
navigator.
passports.
We'll need a navigator. Like, someone to
navigator.
Yeah, someone to help us. No, we have an alligator already.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Like,
this is South Florida.
we're good.
Yeah.
They call me the alligator man. Shout out Cat Williams.
Shout out Cat Williams.
But I will say this: Tuesday, though, we move on to Tuesday, and we are going up to Boca, where John, you are going to be making your debut, correct, at the Sad Man Comedy Club.
Yeah, I actually did Sad Man's like years and years back. I went to see Perry Sack do a show, and I wasn't doing stand up back then. And they asked me, "Hey, you want to get up there?" And I hadn't done stand up in a long time, but I was on a date with this girl, and she was like, "You should do it." So I went up there, told some jokes, and it was a good night for everybody. But this Tuesday, I'm going to be going up there and jumping back on that stage. I hear so much about how Sad Man's rooms are run, how many people come in, how it's just such a great room for comedy. So I've been just stuck in my little bubble of running all these rooms. I barely get to do anyone else's thing, so I'm really excited for Tuesday night at Sad Man's Boca.
Nice, bro. That's dope. I mean, I've gone up there. I did Ref Roulette most recently there with Eric, Casey, and Shannon, and that is one of my favorite rooms. If I'm driving that far up north to like the Boca, West Palm-ish area, if I'm doing that, Sad Man is one of those rooms that I know is always worth it. It's always worth the time. It's always worth the effort every single time. Like, I love that space, man. It's really cool. Shout out to Adeem. And
Nadeem is the best.
Yeah. And everyone else who is associated with Sad Man, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Super dope. Super dope. Thursday, though, this one is something that I am looking forward to at the Miami Improv, guys. Thursday, May 1st, 8 p.m. You want to be at the Miami Improv, and you want to get your tickets right now because a friend of the show and an absolute legend in comedy is going to be performing on Thursday at the Miami Improv, guys. Ricky Cruz is headlining, baby. And if you don't know Ricky, you're going to know about him now because you're not only going to go and follow him on Instagram, but you're also going to go and get some tickets for Thursday night. Because if you're one of the few people who watches comedy or who's interested in comedy in Miami and who has not seen Ricky Cruz perform, well, guess what? This is the perfect time. Because if you've never seen him, and even if you have seen him, the new stuff he's got right now is hotter than ever. I just watched him absolutely murder an entire weekend. He featured for Amir K with me the other weekend at the Miami Improv and absolutely destroyed.
And I'll say this, like, there's a lot of comedy calendar fans that I met at the Improv who know Ricky either from the past, from school, from somewhere in Miami they ran into each other. This is your opportunity.
Yeah.
Come out. It's a great improv show. Great show at the Miami Improv. It's Ricky Cruz. You support him. You come support Miami comedy. And it's going to guarantee to be a good show. I don't know who he has opening for him this time.
Right.
So I'm excited to see who that's going to be. If he's already picked you and you know who you are, when you see this clip, send me a little hello and I'll make sure to put it on the post as well.
Nice.
But dude, shout out to Ricky again, headlining another improv,
He's one of those names that you keep hearing, like I'm all the way out in Broward, but I've heard Ricky Cruz, these are the comedians that are going to be at that next level.
Yeah.
When you start knowing their name and you've never met them, that's how you know that they're going somewhere.
Ricky is the man. He's been doing this. I mean, like we said, and we learned when he was on the show, Ricky's been doing this since I have been alive.
Yeah.
Longer than my life. So huge shout out to him, man. And not only a consummate professional, but one of the funniest people I've ever met hitting a stage. So you definitely want to check that out. Ricky Cruz, guys, May 1st, Thursday, 8 p.m., guys. Moving on to Friday, though, we're staying at the Miami Improv, another local and a headliner who's coming back into town to feature with the Have Nots comedy, and that's Britney Brave, guys. She's there with Have Nots on Friday. That's the 10 p.m. show, so they're gonna be there. It's a little bit later, but it is a featurette, really, really dope. Glad to see that Britney's coming back down. She's based in New York now. She's been killing it out there in New York, so coming back, working with Have Nots and Dom and everybody. It's gonna be a fun show. If you want to get tickets, again, MiamiImprov.com is the only place for you guys to get tickets for those events, guys. Can't get them anywhere else. So Friday, again, 10 p.m. So don't forget, that is a 10 p.m. show. A little bit better for you guys on a Friday, honestly, because I love that 10 p.m. slot, because I feel like the early shows on a Friday, it's hard getting out of work, driving through traffic, going home. You know what I mean? Like,
but I think for her crowd, specifically, Friday night, 10 p.m.,
amazing.
Those ladies are going to come out.
It's going to
You know what I mean? There isn't a drag brunch, and there isn't an event like that we do that someone doesn't ask me if Britney is there. So,
True.
Like, they're going to be out. If it's 10 p.m., they're going to come out. They're going to be ready to party. I have a pretty good feeling we have to let Copper Blues know that the after party is going to be nuts.
At right when that show ends, and there's going to be an avalanche of people flowing into that space 100%.
So I'm excited. We're going to be there working it. And do you know by any chance who's opening for her?
I don't.
Dude, whoever, if you're opening for somebody dope, hey, let me know. Make sure we shout you out on the comment.
You had me at drag brunch. That's all I know.
Nice.
I'll be there.
We had one this past Sunday.
We had one on Sunday, man.
It was a Bad Bunny drag brunch.
They were all
I heard about that. I heard that was a big show. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. From what I heard, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you are looking for a really, really cool show to see this weekend, if you're looking to pick just one show to go to, guys, I think this could be it. At the Miami Improv on Saturday, guys, we have an awesome show. Jeff Dye is coming through and doing 2 shows, one night only this weekend at the Miami Improv. He is doing 2 shows, though, so you guys got an opportunity to see him twice. Man, he has been making the rounds on social media recently. Not only have his stand-up clips gone super, super viral recently, but also his podcast clips, interview clips. He does really, really incredible content on social media and online. One of the funniest guys, I think, in stand-up right now, and probably if he continues on the trajectory that he's at, might not be doing improvs for much longer, doing smaller clubs for much longer. So you definitely want to get out there and catch him while he's still at the price that he's at and in the venues that he's at, because it might get bigger and more expensive in the future.
We did a look ahead. I think we shouted him out like close to a month ago already. Yeah. And since then, he's already blown up.
Yeah.
Like even more than we had already talked about it then. I think he was on Kill Tony or something recently.
Sure.
Where it just like skyrocketed, you know what I mean? Even from where he was at before. So yeah, this might be the last time we see him at the Miami Improv. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's the trajectory that these guys are on, man. And there's a 7 and a 9:30 show, guys. But again, one thing that I will highly warn you guys about is please avoid resellers. He's the kind of guy that his tickets will be purchased, and there will be ads online. There will be promotions sent to your Instagram that say, buy these tickets, tickets for Jeff Dye. It's sold, VIP is sold out. We have VIP tickets available. Whatever it says, do not buy those tickets, because they will not be valid at the Miami Improv. We know when tickets are purchased from other websites, and if they are purchased from anything other than MiamiImprov.com, they're not accepted.
Yeah, and it breaks my heart. Like every time someone shows up and they're like, they show me the StubHub or the Ticketmaster, whatever it is, and I'm like literally, I love this place, I love you, I want you to go in, but these are fake tickets and I can't do anything about it.
Right. So please, guys, keep in mind, MiamiImprov.com is the only place to get tickets for Jeff Dye. Then on Sunday, though, we are still staying at the Miami Improv, but we have a super, super awesome show. One that I am like through the roof excited to be able to watch on Sunday night, guys, at 7 p.m. It's Oscar Collaza coming back, and he's doing his Colombian show at the Miami Improv, guys.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, you can see even in the photo that we got, he is right in front of a Colombian flag. The man bleeds yellow, blue, and red. And I think it is going to be really cool seeing that community come out and support Oscar on that night, because everybody knows that when we have those specialty shows, whether it be a Cuban show, Venezuelan show, Dominican show, Puerto Rican, whatever it is, they come out.
They turn out.
Support. They turn out and they support. So we need Colombia and the Colombians here in Miami to come out on Sunday to the Miami Improv. It's a call to action. You guys got to come out and support your own, man, because not only is Oscar...
Come in through the vents, come in through
the vents,
whatever you want.
however you can find your way into the Miami Improv. But as long as you have a seat and you get your 2 drinks, you're going to be welcome there at the Miami Miami Improv, guys. But no, for real, man, we need that Colombian energy and everybody else here in Miami to come out and support our local guy.
Yeah.
He's coming into town. He's based in New York, so he's usually out and about. He's traveling in the Northeast.
He's
doing
right
crazy
now.
shows, man.
So he's on a cruise ship right now.
Yeah.
And doing comedy, and he's going to be getting to Miami. I think he came from New York to Miami in a cruise ship, getting down and then hitting.
That's a baller way to pull up to town.
Yeah.
In a giant cruise ship. That's freaking dope.
Nobody else is doing that.
But there you go, man. So he's going to be doing the show on Sunday at the Miami Improv, guys. Please, please, please get out and get some tickets and come out and support not just an amazing comic, but an amazing person as well. One of the nicest guys I've ever met in comedy.
Except for me.
Except for you.
Except
John.
for Jon
Yes.
Schaefer.
That's why I said one of.
Well, you're not Colombian, so
But
that's
you're not Colombian.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't
How
say
do you know
comedy.
that?
I didn't say comedy. I didn't say anything. I didn't say he was the nicest Colombian I've ever met. That was
Well,
you.
I thought
That
that
was you.
automatically your favorite comedian would have to be Colombian. I figured
Why?
because Colombia, you know.
Oh, yes, of course.
Are you Colombian?
No,
No, BBLs.
Oh, okay. There's that too. Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
Exactly. You know, I digress. We move on, though, to the end of our week, guys, and we go into what I love about this show, and that is the interview portion, man, with our boy Jon. Jon, I've heard since I started comedy, I've always heard your name. You know, we're in different...
All good things.
Of course, of course. No, but I'm saying as a producer, as somebody who's a performer, I've seen you on flyers. I've always seen you active in the scene since I've started. I'm only 3 years into this. How long have you been doing stand-up?
I started doing stand-up comedy in the 4th grade.
Really?
I was in 4th grade, and they were doing a talent show, a school-wide talent show, and they were going class to class, asking people, you know, do you have a talent, this, or that? And all the more popular kids, I was a big nerd, but I didn't have good grades, so I don't know what you call that. And they asked, does anyone have a talent? And I wrote down stand-up comedy, and I'm 10 years old. And I remember after the class, the teacher says, Jonathan, can you come back over here and, you know, talk to me? And she goes, people can't just do stand-up comedy. And that stuck with me for the rest of my life. That was the first time I went on stage. I went on stage in front of the entire school. I closed out that bit in 1996 about a joke about all these celebrities were dying at the time, and my closing bit was about Michael Jackson overdosing. And I didn't know that I was...
as a kid, it was very topical.
Yes, as a kid, it was still topical for the next 20 years. But yeah, that's how I really got into stand-up. Was I just loved stand-up comedy as a kid. And I would take, you remember the Talk Boy from Home Alone 2? Mm-hmm. I would go up to the TV screen, I would record comedians and their bits, and I would just walk around school, the neighborhood, I would just force my friends to just listen to these bits. And now I'm trying to force my friends to see me at the Improv.
Right, to listen to your bits.
To listen to my bits.
So we have a picture here of you with your boyfriend Oscar, I believe.
That's a good one. I'm 13 years old there. And I had the bleach blonde hair, and I was a little thinner back then, just a bit. I've eaten a bit since, but yeah, that was me doing stand-up back in the day.
Damn.
Dude.
Yeah.
Impressive. At the Oscars.
At the at the Oscars. I was the kid that Michael brought. And,
Yeah.
Gotcha, you're his date. That's cool.
That's right.
That's cool. Nice. Well, since you've now gotten into stand-up as a professional, as a producer,
Yes.
how long has that been happening, and what has that journey been like? What got you, like, what made you say, like, yo, I can do this and I want to do this as the thing?
I started running, I mentioned we started running the Circus Bar shows after we filmed the movie Open Mic Night with Drew Illa.
Got you.
And after I was running that first show, I got a call from another venue who said, hey, we see what you're doing at Circus Bar. Could you do that over here? And Spicy Lee Jones had been working some shows with me, and he said, you know, you could run a lot of shows like this. You could have, you know, if we work together, which he's been working with me ever since, you could run a number of shows. You know, it brings you a little bit of money, and you give a lot of people a lot more opportunities to do comedy in Broward County. I mean, you know, everyone's always talking about, oh, having to drive all this far, all that far. You know, I'm bringing out a lot of rooms to Broward County. So, and...
yeah, keep the riffraff out of Miami. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how I've just kept going. Just places ask me, or I call them, and it's just been something that I just fell in love with, you know.
Well, and one of the things that you kind of hit on is like, for me, comedy is like it's it's a micro promotional tool, right? So it's like a comedy club is a local thing. It's the closest thing to like a local bar you're gonna have. Like the comedians that do well there know the audience that come to that place. They know who, like if you're doing Brickell and you know how to hit tourists, or if you're doing, I don't know, Homestead and you know like what kind of audience you're gonna get there. In Broward, creating those spaces, it just helps those comedians, tune in who's gonna be the people that are gonna be watching the show, and how to like find your, fine tune your jokes and to that, to that audience, really cater to them,
We have such very different crowds. I mean, you'd walk into Circus Bar and you'd think, oh, you would think like it's a right wing bar, but I'll ask the crowd like, hey, who'd you vote for? Half of them yell Trump, half of them yell Biden or Harris or whatever, and they still enjoy having a drink with each other, and it's the most pure thing. A lot of the rooms in Broward are so eclectic, where you have gay people and you have trans people and you have straight people and you have people that like Trump and you have people that really don't like Trump. I mean, I don't like Trump, but I work with Ciro Dobrik, who is the biggest Trumper that I know. So it's, I don't know. I just think that there's a lot of, for a lack of a better word, some magic in it when it comes to running a room.
And as Miami comedians, we talk about that all the time. Like I recently did Off the Hook, and I definitely could have used a couple more reps up in Broward before I went there, because my first at bat, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't what I wanted. I didn't come out of it feeling confident, and so definitely, some more of that. I always say there's a benefit to like Broward guys coming down to Miami, but there's definitely a benefit to Miami guys going up there and kind of getting a little taste of it. Especially when we do Dania, like we're trying to do the Fort Lauderdale Improv.
Yeah,
it's going to be those same people at the Fort Lauderdale Improv.
It's the Fort Lauderdale Improv is like a 20-minute drive, maybe less, from Circus Bar and Osaki and Kelly Brothers.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I know you, after you failed at comedy at 13 years old. When did you? I know you have a history with wrestling.
Yes.
What's the wrestling? How does it come in? Because obviously it makes you a better showman. So.
First of all, if you're a performer and you get any kind of a chance to do anything in pro wrestling, it's the most fun thing in the world. And I think that more and more things are becoming more like professional wrestling. Like our politics is becoming more like professional wrestling.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Comedy's becoming more like professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kill Tony was on Raw the other night. Burt Kreischer chokeslammed someone after SmackDown the other night. Mm-hmm. I ended up, we made my first movie, Jimmy the Killer Dick. And after, thank you, it's a great title. And after,
we're gonna come back to it.
Yeah, we'll get back to Jimmy, which we're making Jimmy the Killer Dick 2, The Second Coming.
Nice.
And the resurrection of that'll be the third one day. My parents will still love me. But the professional wrestling, I had seen some ads from some people who I kind of knew, and I messaged them and I was like, hey, I'd be really interested in getting in the ring and being a manager and talking some crap. And it's the most fun thing to go out there as a heel, as a bad guy, and just talk crap about people that are right in the front row. I mean, I'm a fat guy, but I'm calling other people fat guys. It's a great day.
So I know we have a little promo clip that we're going to play here, but can you give us a little context what we're about to see?
This was the first promo that I did at in a gymnasium in Coral Springs. And this is a Platinum Pro Wrestling. They had been going around for a number of years out here, so the crowd generally knew who those wrestlers were, but they had no idea who I was. And that's all you need for that.
Awesome.
By our PPW Pro analyst, J-Dog Brooks. And J-Dog, we appear to have some talent in the form of managerial expertise joining us.
And that's right, that looks like Jon Schaefer.
My name's Jon Schaefer.
You want to know who I am?
It's Steven Austin over here. I love Company Coral Springs. You don't know who I am?
Probably.
I'll tell you who I am. I'm probably your daddy. I love Company Coral Springs because it just reminds me of all the trailer trash and losers I left behind. For those of you that don't know, I have a contract with this company. You're going to see a lot more of me tonight.
I love that. So much fun.
Dude, that's so dope. That's so dope. And it's funny, I've met a few people recently that do like professional regional wrestling that either have done it in the past, that like have retired since, or that are still active in it and go to all the events. And like, it's a really interesting kind of parallel to stand-up, where like there is a professional, huge stage where you have WWE and AWE and all those other promotions that are like this is where you can be on TV and make millions and become like a star. But at the same time, to get to that point, you got to start at like the local level. You got to work out your moves. You got to tune yourself. You got to do what would be an open mic, like what you went to, kind of. It's like an open mic for wrestling.
Yeah,
almost.
it's what we call in wrestling the indies, the independents.
There you go. Okay,
and that's what these open mics are. There's a big
open ring,
easy comparison between professional wrestling and stand-up comedy. You know, you don't get onto Netflix unless you've done your Kelly Brothers.
Yeah, your 10,000 hours.
Yeah,
exactly.
Your 10,000 hours.
No, what's crazy to me is that with these wrestling, like I've seen a lot of different events like that where they're able to get like, you know, hundreds of people, you know, and I still can't get 10 family members to show up to the Miami Improv.
Well, that's because professional wrestling is more respected than comedy, but that's besides the point.
No, I'm saying at that clip, I think I saw some family members at that event, and I was like, "What's going on?" You know, whatever.
My
they don't even
dad
like wrestling.
went to that show, and he's not even going to go see me at the Improv. Okay, so
at least you got him for one.
Yeah, I've gotten him for one thing.
Yeah,
you used him for that one. He's like, "You got one, son. I'm gonna go to one of your stupid artsy things.
Take a pick." But that's really dope. And so when you wrestle, is there a stage name? Is there a pseudonym that you're going by?
So at first, and I was never a wrestler. I was a manager, and I actually did write for Coastal Championship Wrestling and a bunch of other things that I did. But I, at one point, became Uncle Dusty. I was a clown, and I was managing a couple of guys who were real veterans that had been around for a long time. And they were evil clowns, Chuckles the Clown and Zach Monstar. And those guys knew what the hell they were doing. I did not. So there was one time where they told me before, like, you know, we go over what we're going to do backstage before we get out there. And they told me, all right, when at the end of the show you come in, because we are at the end of the match, we win the tag team titles, you come in, you're our big cheerleader, you hold up the belts, you're more excited than anyone else in the ring because or in the building because these are your guys. You're managing them. And he tells me, and he goes, now when I look at you and I say, get the hell out of the ring, get out of the ring because some guys are going to come in with chairs, and if you are still in the ring, you are going to get hit with a chair. So at first I thought that he was mad at me because he'd mentioned that like hours ago and I forgot about it. But I'm in the ring, I'm holding up the belts, and these guys come running in with the chairs, and he gives me this awful look, and he goes, get the F out of here. Like, he has to say it under his breath so that the crowd doesn't hear him, but get the F out. And I have never jumped out of a ring or anything else in my life. I mean, I've jumped out of horrible relationships more slowly than this. I did not want to get hit in the head with a steel chair, especially while the crowd wanted me to get hit in the head with a steel chair.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things you kind of just brought it up. For me, one of the things in comedy is always like the contrast is always like funny. So I always say like a really ugly guy that gets all the chicks, like that's hilarious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And from what I understand, you've had like over 5 or 6 marriages, if that's
No. I've had a number of ex-girlfriends. Didn't cheat on any of them. Should have, but no. I don't know where we were going with that, but
I'm just saying. So
fun.
Well, I'm saying as ugly as you are, like you must have a ridiculously big dong.
Oh, that's true. Well, I thought that's why you guys wanted to measure it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, that was for a separate podcast we're starting.
Oh, okay, all right.
We have a scale, and then we're also gonna put it in a flask so we can see the diffusion.
As long as I don't have to step on a scale, I'm happy.
No.
Okay, good.
No, it's like a food scale.
Yeah,
you just put it right on there.
It's like a
like a
sensitive.
hot dog.
And then
bam.
No, and then there's a
Very
volumetric
sensitive.
one, which is like a beaker. You're gonna put it in there. We'll see how much water gets displaced.
The Randy Marsh Wiener equation.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, like, have you seen like Top Gear where they have like the rankings and stuff of how everybody?
yeah.
Like, we're
That's
gonna put
kinda
you up on a
that's
board.
kinda- yeah,
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Between me and all the other comedians.
Yeah.
Okay.
all the other
big
guests.
Yeah.
And- comedian guests. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
It's kind of like also like Hot Ones. They rate they rate everybody who's handled the heat the best. You know, that's cool.
Yeah. What's crazy right now? There's a lady that's winning. So that's
I don't know how that worked out.
That's not fair. She bought hers.
That's true.
I mean, I had to pay for the surgery, but still.
We also hear.
Speaking of,
Speaking of penises, we have heard that you've directed and created and curated a movie that hopefully will end in more than a trilogy. I want to see this be a saga.
Yeah, we'll make sure that the fourth one is in space, like how they did the Leprechaun, Jason, and all that.
There you go. And Fast and Furious eventually.
Fast and Furious, yeah.
Any good IP
that wasn't
eventually
horror. That was just horrible.
Yeah.
But still.
No, right. Any good IP eventually ends up in space. And Star Wars did the right thing and started there.
There you go. Yeah.
That's why they're the best. But you do have Jimmy the Killer Dick.
I have
in your portfolio.
In my portfolio, I think he might be in a bag in the trunk.
Nice.
I keep the prop for Jimmy, which is extremely realistic looking, and I have a little plastic knife that I tape to it. I keep that in the trunk, really hoping I get pulled over one day. Just really hoping that the cops open this up and they go, all right, I think we're gonna just let him go because I don't want to ask any more questions.
Have you seen? That's not how cops usually work. They're gonna have a lot more questions.
Cops usually are the ones to be like, "This is alarming. We need to ask more questions." And you are now detained.
No, it was a movie from years ago. It's like, there's fresh blood on this. Like,
there's fresh blood.
It's my own. Let me explain.
We just found pubic hair at a crime scene. You're coming in. How dare you?
Jimmy the Killer Dick is a short comedy film that I wrote, directed, produced, and I also play the main character, which is Andy. Andy accidentally shot himself in the dick on the first day of military training.
Nice.
He gets a
that happens.
That happens. Yeah.
That's not a far off story. Believable.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm locked in.
So I accidentally shoot myself on the first day of military training, and I get a penis transplant. The transplant comes from an executed serial killer.
Oh.
And it comes to life. It's played by Ciro Dobrik. So it walks, it talks, it tells crude and offensive jokes, and it kills people in very interesting and, in some cases, disgusting ways.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, interesting.
Yeah.
First of all, but what I want to say is that does the penis detach itself from the body? But it's like autonomous. But does it go back home?
I don't even want to ruin anything for you, but if you see the trailer, you can see in the trailer when Jimmy detaches while I'm asleep in bed and he goes out the window.
All right. So we actually have that queued up, right?
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. Guys, the trailer for Jimmy the Killer Dick.
That was an order, not a request, Lieutenant.
I found my penis in the front porch this morning.
What's with the knife, amigo?
Minutes.
There you have it, guys. The trailer for Jimmy the Killer Dick.
So how long exactly has Jackie Sanchez been putting up with your bullshit?
Oh my God. She didn't want to be in the sequel, I'll tell you that.
You have to recast the character?
I am recasting the character.
Are you just going to kill her off?
No.
He needs this character. It's very important.
Super important. She plays my wife.
Nice.
And actually, there's a scene in the sequel where she's yelling at me because I'm either going to shave. I haven't decided if I'm going to cut off the hair or if I'm going to shave off the beard. And she's going to say, "You look nothing like yourself." I'm going to be like, "Well, look who's talking." And then it just cuts because it's not Jackie Sanchez anymore.
Got you.
That'll be a little inside joke for the people who saw the first film.
Got you. Okay,
but I'm blown away that she doesn't want to be involved with this project. I mean, was it like a scheduling conflict or like money? The
money, yeah.
She just demanded too much from the sequel. She's like, I've done a few projects in between. My rate is much higher now.
I think that it's the distance and the scheduling. She's all the way out in West Palm.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I love Jackie. If she still wants to do it, I haven't shot those scenes yet. That's really why I came on, just to pressure you, Jackie. Do the movie. Now,
how close is West Palm to Kentucky exactly?
Yeah, it's very close.
Okay.
Right around the corner.
Yeah, right
hop,
around
skip,
the
and a
corner.
jump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You take Palmetto.
Palmetto up.
And so you also are.
So is it? So
You are-
tell me more about this second.
Yeah, yeah. So
sequel.
the
I have to know
second,
more.
the second movie, as you're producing it now, what, as a producer of film, like we don't usually have people on the show that produce films. What has been something that you've ran into as maybe a problem that you've solved, or something that you maybe like some advice you can give?
The same thing that it's not always exactly the same. You really have to go into producing anything with the idea that, first of all, you want to plan ahead. If this person doesn't show up, well, we can shoot something else for the movie. And it's the same thing as if a comedian doesn't show up, well, you can give this other person a little more time. You always want to have some sort of a backup plan, and you'll feel when something doesn't, like when you're first starting producing anything, if someone cancels, especially last minute, anything like that, you can't let yourself get upset because you're working with people. People make mistakes. People have lives. You're lucky enough to have them helping you out in any kind of way. If they tell you that they're going to bring you 10 people at the Improv and they call you 20 minutes before and say, I can't make it, that doesn't mean that you never book them again. That doesn't mean that you don't show up to their birthday party. It just means that, you got to know what you can and can't expect from someone. And that doesn't mean that you never give them a chance either. But the main thing is that things won't work or things will be canceled. The hardest part of shooting Jimmy is using the fishing rope to tie the little knife to the killer dick. That's the hardest part. I'll tell you that, because it goes flying and then you have to reset her. Jimmy is his own diva.
Wow.
That's my biggest problem in life.
And it's your favorite part. Just touching
And it's my favorite part.
manipulating and just touching the prop.
Right.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
I had a guy on set one time, and he's watching me like trying to tie the knife to the dildo, and he goes, "Hey, that's not a good knot." And he comes over, and he's like a fisherman guy, and he does this like professional looking thing, and he goes, "I don't know, I kind of feel like I was born to do this." And clips the string and all that.
Well, the weird thing is that he's such a good knot tire, but he still like closes it off with his mouth.
Yeah.
This is how you do it.
Yeah.
It's done.
I could tie a cherry with my tongue, Like,
I can tie a Jimmy with my tongue. Oh.
and Jimmy too. When are we thinking that's gonna?
Oh boy, I
As
really.
soon as Jackie agrees.
As soon as Jackie calls me
She's
after
holding
seeing
up
this,
all production.
yeah, it's all been her problem. That's why it's taken us 8 years to make a sequel. I was really hoping to have it done by the end of the year. I don't know that's going to happen because I've had so many other things that are happening between. We're running Circus on Mondays. We're about to be running Osaki on Tuesdays. We're running.
Let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah, we'll talk
so
about that.
I know you have some couple of rooms coming up. Talk about Kelly Brothers first.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kelly Brothers is every second and fourth Sunday. Sign up is at 7, shows at 7:30. And just like Circus Bar, just like Kelly Brothers, I give 10 minutes if you sign up on time. And it's all arts open mic, so I have musicians that come in, magicians. It's a really cool, different show. We've just really started kicking off the Sundays. We've only done like 3 or 4 of them so far on Sundays. And we're starting to have people know about it. That's the toughest thing. Again, you were talking about producing these things. I think that longevity is a really important thing. Like Monday nights at Circus Bar, I always put out the flyers and all that, but now I really don't have to because so many people know about it. Meanwhile, as soon as I put out Kelly Brothers, I've been putting them out for weeks and weeks and weeks. People are still finding out, oh, you have a show on Kelly Brothers? And it's like, Mom, I told you about this. I thought you were coming. So yeah, consistency is key. Kelly Brothers is a really fun room. I mean, it's a staple in the comedy community. So Potifa Productions is really lucky to have them.
I was gonna say, shout out Mr. Big Pedro. He does the Tuesday writer rooms there. Is Abby still doing?
Abby is still doing every other Friday, and I think that she's also doing. I don't know. Last I heard, they were doing every other Friday with the comedy. I think that she also does a contest there. On those Fridays, and then they do something else that she produces every other Friday there. But I'm not at liberty to discuss everything that's going on over there. I don't know.
No worries. Kelly Brothers, that's in Fort Lauderdale. And then the other show we talked about is at Osaki.
Osaki Bar and Grill is going to be going to Tuesday nights. Sign up's going to be at 8. Show is going to be at 8:30. And that's going to be all arts open mic. You get 10 minutes if you sign up on time, 7 minutes if you're late. That room, you get a free house shot with the purchase of anything. You go in there and you order some wings, well, you can get a free shot with that. If you order a shot, you can get a free shot with that and get real drunk.
And what part of
And if
town?
I get 2 shots, is that 4 shots?
No, you only get the 1 free shot. I'm sorry. You can't order 5 shots and then get 5 shots.
I thought I had
you're good.
I thought I had the
loophole.
wish for more wishes with.
Damn.
It's an infinite. And Osaki, what part of town is that in?
It's on 441 Commercial.
That's in America?
That is
Yeah,
in
it is in
America. It's in
America.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And, yeah,
Okay.
so it's
in Kensington.
It's not in Kendall, so I don't know. Like,
North Lauderhill would be
Gotcha.
North Lauderhill is where it's at.
What do you know about Hialeah?
I know that no one knows me out there for anything other than Jimmy the Killer Dick.
yeah.
Is it popular out there?
Yeah, the funny thing is that Jimmy has 158,000 views on YouTube. And I don't know about Hialeah, but almost half of the views that we got were all from Brazil.
Really?
Really? Yeah.
Oh, you got
Yeah.
a Brazilian right here.
Repping, dog.
That makes sense, actually, that Brazilians would enjoy that movie.
And Brazilians sneak up on you, bro. You
Yeah.
never know. You
This
know what I
is-
mean? Like,
this
you
is-
never know. Like,
they'll always come out to support.
yeah, dog. Actually, on the way here, I want to talk to you about this. I got to start writing some new material around being Brazilian. Someone called me out the other day. They're like, "You're not Brazilian enough." I don't know what that means, but
Yeah.
you and I have to talk
No,
about
You
it.
got to get the BBL.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Damn it. That's what
When
it
they
is.
say enough, they say there's not enough of you.
Yeah.
That
They
makes
said
sense.
you're not Brazilian enough because you were brought to this country and educated and worked in the professional realm for
That's what it
years.
is. I thought it was.
So now you don't sound like Carnival is the only thing you look forward to all year.
Gotcha. I thought maybe it was like because like I didn't really get raised like most Brazilians, so like I don't know how to credit card scam. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
so difficult
Yeah.
growing up in America.
Now you're
but-
stealing my whole act.
Yeah, sorry.
Yep.
But I cannot not bring up one of the big things coming up for Purafa
Puerta.
Thank you.
Productions.
Not Brazilian enough.
He only that's not Portuguese, bro. I can tell you that.
That's
Like,
Portuguese.
That's not. I will not rep for that. I will not take credit. But I know you have big show coming up at the Fort Lauderdale Improv, May 28th, 8 p.m.
Doors open at 6. The show starts at 7.
7 p.m.
Yeah, May 28th at the Fort Lauderdale Improv. Our headliner is Amber Joy Lane. She was one of she won 3rd place in Florida's Funniest out of like 300-400 comedians.
We shouted her out here on one of the clips that she won.
Yeah, she is really awesome. I mean, I actually met her just a few weeks before I got the ask to do the Fort Lauderdale Improv. And I watched her set. You know, I watched her set at the Improv, but then I watched her set at another room, and we just talked after the show. And I just love she said something to me about how I'm not just a comedian, I'm a performer, and that really spoke to me as someone who writes, directs, and produces all these things. It's like a lot of us, like if you are just purely a comic, God bless you, but a lot of us are doing so many things, and I just love the way her mind works. I thought that she was clearly so much smarter than me, so I had to have her headline. That way people think that I'm smarter than I look.
I mean, I know what you mean because she recently got to meet and hang out with Shakira, and that's one of my life goals.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well that sucks. I don't know how I'm gonna. I guess I gotta learn how to dance now. I don't know. I don't have. I have to get rich and famous. That's my strategy.
Rich, famous, or learn how to dance. That's how you meet Shakira.
No.
Dude, I'm not gonna learn how to dance. I'll be honest with you, bro. It's
He just
it's
needs a BBL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my hips do lie,
But
bro.
you said also Eric Rosenblum is going to be on that.
No, Eric Rosenblum is going to be there and be my security.
He's going to be your security.
He's going to be anyone messes with me. There's some people in comedy that don't like me. If you don't like me, show up to the Improv. Eric Rosenblum is there to kick your ass.
That's good.
And what's the format of the show? What's that gonna be like?
So we have Big A and See No Evil are doing extra time. See No Evil is featuring. He's going to do about 10, 12, or 10 or 15 minutes. Big A is going to do a little bit less time than that. You guys know Big A?
Yeah.
All right. No? You don't know Big A? Big A is very funny. He's really a proud guy.
Performs with Pookie.
Yeah, he performs with Pookie and all those guys. And See No Evil, of course, one of the funniest guys in South Florida. He's been doing this for, 20 years?
Yeah.
The blind comedian, and he lets you know it.
Chris Hilio is the blind comedian.
Oh, he's
Rep
the
Miami.
other blind comedian.
Until
He's
Rep
the
Miami.
white blind comedian.
That's the
There you
American.
go. We have 2 of them. Yeah.
But he's from West Palm, though, right?
Yeah.
See No Evil.
No, not everyone lives or is from West Palm.
That's all I know.
He's in Coconut Creek.
It's Fort Lauderdale and West Palm. That's all you
Coconut
got.
Creek's not a real place in West Palm. No way.
It's just south of Alabama.
Okay.
I was gonna say, you guys, Coconut Creek,
Use
all
real
those
places.
other places don't have dots on the map. If you don't have a dot on the map with the name of your city there, you do not exist. You're a municipality.
Ryan Nadish is also on the show. Lorena Benedetto,
Nice.
Spicy Lee Jones is hosting, and I'm going to be on there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And I think that's it. And if I forgot anybody, that's how you found out that you got cut off the show.
And what day of the week is it?
It's a Wednesday,
Nice.
May 28th.
Very cool.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. Well, there
7
you have it.
p.m.
And we're sponsored by Chaos Gamer Lounge in Margate. That was our first sponsor. That was another thing with producing shows and things like that. Get sponsors, small venues, small places, or new local places. They want to give you some money so that you can promote your thing, and you put their logo on your stuff. And Chaos Gamer Lounge, can't thank them enough.
Well, I will say this, speaking of sponsors, if anybody wants to sponsor the comedy calendar, we're looking for sponsors. We got some merch ideas that we're going to be coming out with here in the next couple of weeks, and definitely could use some sponsorship to help us get that off the ground. So, and if you're a watcher, a fan of the podcast, when you see us with that merch, support, man. Definitely, there's nothing better than getting some love from the people that are coming out to the shows and doing the things.
You guys have a very big audience. Someone would be lucky to sponsor you guys. Maybe I can call the people that made Jimmy the Killer Dick, the actual dildo itself, and maybe they'll sponsor you.
That would be cool.
Even if they can't sponsor us, I have a couple of ideas that we can discuss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any samples? They send you samples. Anyway, go ahead. Finish up.
I was gonna say that's awesome. Getting a show at the Improv. Those are not opportunities to be taken lightly. I think most people in South Florida, whether they be at the Fort Lauderdale Improv or the Miami Improv, and possibly in the future the Wellington, the opening up the West Palm Improv again, that'll be closer to you.
It will not be closer to me.
Then the Miami Improv for sure.
Not closer than the Fort Lauderdale Improv.
But then the Miami Improv.
I'm waiting for them to open a Coral Springs Improv. That way, Art
You
can
need a
figure out where the
dot.
hell
You
I
need
live.
a dot. You don't have a dot.
I've been living in Florida since '94. I don't know where Coral Springs is.
Nothing. You get no improv. You come to Wellington, and Fort Lauderdale, and Miami. We have dots. Dania. They couldn't even keep calling it Dania.
Yeah, I know. That's the
But
craziest
Coral
thing.
Springs is coming.
Yes, Coral Springs is coming. The Improv at Coral Springs coming
Cooper
in
City.
2028.
The Cooper City Improv.
The Cooper City.
Might as well have Florida City Improv too. While we're at it.
The Pompano Beach Improv. That's the spot right there.
Bahia Onda down in the Keys.
The what?
Bahia Onda Improv.
Bionda?
Yeah.
You killed it. Now it's not funny.
Yeah. Is that by Alabama?
No.
Oh, okay.
You guys live in South Florida. Never mind.
We're still training the AI model, everybody. I'm sorry. It still doesn't know social cues very well.
So, that's in Spanish. Sorry, you guys don't speak Spanish. My bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they don't speak Spanish up in West Palm. But it's true though. We I think anytime you perform at any of the improvs, it's like that's what we're here for. Like those are the reps that it's like it's almost it's hard to find a comparison to it, but it's like you're in the big leagues now. It's like we may be playing,
those shots count.
We're practicing. Yeah, we're practicing. We're doing warm-ups, we're going through the motions at the open mics and when we're working out per se, but those reps at the improvs like we had last night with the comedy competition and with producing a show as well, that is super impressive and something that everybody, you got to go to Fort Lauderdale Improv and buy tickets for that show. You buy them ahead of time, and guess what? You got to go out and support as well. It doesn't count if you just buy the ticket, man. It's about the presence and it's about the energy that you guys are going to be giving John and everybody else who's on that show when you're there in person. And Fort Lauderdale, the Fort Lauderdale Beach Improv, really brings that energy, man.
It really
I
does,
love performing there. They have such a great staff. They bring out really, really good crowds. Management there is second to none. Like, you really can't go wrong in that space when you bring out the crowd. So you guys, please, not just follow and support the shows, but come out and support them on May 28th, please.
Yep. Tickets are $10. I'm doing 4 for $30.
There you go.
And if you're a veteran, you can get free tickets at VetTix. We're giving out X amount of tickets.
Oh, you're on VetTix.
Yeah, we're on VetTix.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Definitely look that up if you're a veteran then, because VetTix is actually, we've never shouted them out, but VetTix and First Tix are two promotional organizations that always help support events and live comedy, and being able to give veterans and others who have served an opportunity to get in a really good discount on some of the best shows like the one you're producing on the 28th all across South Florida. Not just comedy too. They do a lot of different events. So definitely shout out to those guys. They do really, really great work.
Yeah, they really do.
And you reached out to them directly and got the show on there?
Yeah.
That's great.
I had Lee do it. I tell him to do stuff that I don't want to do.
Cool.
But yeah.
That's delegation. That's what leaders do.
That's important.
That's true.
Another thing that's important is delegation, because I can't do everything.
No.
And I will say,
look at us. We got the team right behind us right now. We got 3 people in the production of this show that haven't said a word so far. We got Rachel producing and switching these cameras around. We got Julian back there who's going to be cutting up the clip that you're watching probably right now on social media. And then we got Dan who's taking pictures, who is probably the picture that you saw when you clicked on this video on Comedy Calendar on our page. So what goes into this show itself doesn't just involve us. It is a full team delegated process, like you said, man. And I can only imagine on the scale that you're doing it with all the shows that you're doing in the productions of movies. And it's crazy.
I'm very lucky. I have guys like Eric Rosenblum, Elgin David, JP Cower. I have a number of Kim Cattrall. I have a number of really good people that have just been big A. A number of people.
You put JP in that list.
I did.
Yeah,
JP's awesome. Yeah, he's been a good help. He's been a big
wow.
Yeah.
Shout out JP.
Yeah. Love JP. Yeah, he's a great kisser.
That's
how I met him.
Yeah.
That's part of how you get on to the What If Productions management team.
It's like the hazing process.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta give a little smooch.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, good for you, JP. I'm glad to know that you have friends. That was I was worried there for a second. I was like, JP, man, what? But you know what? Actually, I would like to also say, in reality, shout out to JP, super great guy. Always love seeing him. And anytime you pull up to an open mic, he's always good energy, man. But also, last night you missed out, JP. A bunch of mailmen were sitting front row at the Miami Improv for the comedy.
And he wasn't there?
Yeah,
he wasn't there.
Everybody literally came up with like, hey, JP should be here.
Yeah.
Like, because literally I did crowd work. There was like a few of us comics did crowd work with one guy who was sitting in the front. Grace Kelly actually was the first one who cracked the egg on him. Some dude that was sitting in the front who was just this he was just like sitting like this, tough looking guy. And like she started making fun of him. And then Rolando Gomez came up a little bit later, the guy who ended up winning the competition. Started tapping into him, started ragging on him. We had these comics go at him. When I got on stage, I went up to him and I did a little work with him, but I was like, dude, all these comics for the last, I don't know how long have been ripping on you. They didn't even ask you your name, bro. We hadn't even gotten his name at that point. Got his name, and then I was like, what do you do for a living? Thinking he's going to say, like, oh, I'm a entrepreneur. I do whatever. You know, he's dressed nice. He has a nice lady with him. And he's like, no, I'm a mailman. And then an eruption of people, like 20 people surrounding him all started erupting. I'm like, are you all mailmen? It's all the people in the front. They're like, yeah.
Well, they all got the free tickets in the mail, and they were someone else's things in the mail.
Yeah.
So.
But the minute we got off stage, everyone was like, dude, JP, man, he would have just murdered tonight. So JP, man, you had an opportunity.
And I'll say this, when I looked at the guy, because I hosted, so I went at first, I saw that he was weird. I didn't know what he did for a living, but I could tell he's the kind of guy that wears shorts for work. You know what I mean? Like, I could tell. You could tell.
He wears shorts in the winter for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Cool guy. But man, John, what a dope interview, dude.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming. Not just trekking all your way down here from West Palm, but also for fucking, really just committing to producing really fantastic shows for comics, man. That is something that not a lot of people are willing to do. They're not willing to put in that back end effort and a lot of the effort that never gets seen and never gets thanked. The producers down here in South Florida, they're really doing a yeoman's effort in not only bringing the comics, but bringing the crowds, bringing the equipment, bringing, the promotion, all of it, man. And I always I tip my cap to anybody, not just comics who are producing, but anybody who's trying to do an effort like yours in any kind of realm of creativity. It's tough. It requires faith, but bro, it's cool seeing somebody just go into it head first like you, man, and seeing from what you've seen today on the interview, guys, and on the clips, just having something to show for it, man. A lot of work, but some really quality stuff to show for it. So that's a really cool thing, man.
Thank you so much, and it's been a pleasure having you guys on my podcast.
There you go.
That's main character energy right there.
We'll be in Jimmy the Killer Dick 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I've already shot most of Jimmy too, so you'll make it to the
right. We'll be in the third one. I could actually possibly play Jackie's replacement.
Oh, that'd be great. See, that would be funny.
That would be good if I was then. But then also I'll I want to be Jackie Sanchez. That's my stage name is Jackie Sanchez. So in the credits, it'll still say Jackie Sanchez. That's my it's just my stage name. I don't want to.
You'll say Jackie Sanchez LLC.
That'll be my stage name. That'll be my stage name. But no, man. So super cool.
And for me, first things first, like I mentioned earlier, man. Thank you for just reaching out since the beginning of the Comedy Calendar. You've been one of the guys that's been showing love, supporting. Sending me info about the shows that are going on up there. So thank you for that. And please continue to do it. I'd love to, even every week, if you do have a little recap or anything like that you want to kind of send out and you want me to put it out, we'll put it on the Comedy Calendar and make sure we're pushing that out. If anyone's reaching out to me, I'll make sure send them that video so they know what's going on up north. But the other part, just how you're able to get so many people to work together, man. Like every show I go to that's yours is full of people, audience members, is full of comedians, and they're all helping. You know?
Art's never been to one of my shows.
Never one. No, he's seen pictures.
Yeah.
No, I've been to many of your
goes
shows.
by the comics, the comics that are like that tag the posts that you're in or whatever. He's like, oh, that's a cool person. I guess they're there.
What I'm saying is that like the average comedian has like an IQ of 75, and you're able to get these guys to work together so incredibly. Like I fail miserably, and I try to get them to work together. But but really, like just going up there and seeing it vibe, because that's one of my favorite things about Miami is like we have a culture, like we have a scene, a group of people that when you come in, like you're welcome. They say hello. They tell you like, hey, this is where you smoke. This is where you drink. This is where you do coke. Whatever. You know what I mean? Like they kind of put you down on game. And now in Broward, you guys have that too. There's like a coalition. And you see like all the rooms coming out of it. Mr. Big Pedro now, Dell, some of these guys.
Yeah, NNM on Fridays at Tootsie's. Tuesdays at Kelly Brothers.
Exactly.
Yeah, Pedro's really doing it as well. You know, him.
Also former guest of the show.
Yeah.
Friend of the show.
God, what's his name? Drawing a blank here now.
Dell?
Dell, Manny. But yeah, no, I mean like Nick Masick, Abby Boland.
Got you.
Those are the people that have just been, and she's been doing it longer. He's been doing it longer than me. You know, we're just all trying to build Broward to what it can be, to give opportunities in Broward County.
Nice.
So that, you know, you have somewhere to drive to between Miami and West Palm.
Yeah.
And Alabama.
And Alabama.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you so much again, John. One of my favorite interviews we've done here on Comedy Calendar, man, because it's such a different perspective. We get a lot of the Miami comics, and we get a lot of that's like not the same interviews, but we talk about the same spaces, we talk about the same venues. You know, it's a similar vibe to what Miami is, but it's really nice to see just a slice of what West Palm's like, man. That's really dope. I'm really
not
excited.
West Palm, Broward County.
It's really great, man. You guys up there, killing it there. So good.
Well, thanks for having me on.
So good, man. Yeah, and one day we'll get up there. We'll take our, like I said, we'll take our passports. We'll get them stamped out, man, and we'll get up there and watch some of the comics that you guys have been building up and you guys have been creating, man, which is really dope. But
you guys still drive on the right side of the road there, right? It's not,
no, we don't drive. Everyone bicycles.
Yeah, horse and buggy.
It's like Amsterdam.
Exactly. Yes. But guys, thank you so much for tuning into this week's edition of the Comedy Calendar. If you made it this far, man, you are one of the best listeners. So huge shout out. If you made it this far, actually comment in the YouTube comments. Say the word star. Just say star. Don't say anything else. Just say star. You can even put the star emoji. That's good. But if you made it this far, put that in the comments, man. And again, I want to quickly shout out the production team back here who's killing it, man. We shouted out their names earlier, but Ray, Julian, and Dan, all of them killing it. Art, anything else to say before we head out?
No, I'm just disappointed in Ye. I mean, I think he missed the opportunity. Like I can't get over it. I keep like as I'm sleeping, my sleep paralysis demon keeps playing the song over and over again. He's got the face of my cousin. It's a weird time, but
I gave my cousin head. I gave my cousin head. Still stuck in my head.
Shout out Felipe, you know.
There you go. Shout out Felipe. Yeah,
flip.
Shout out. Flip on a flip cup. Anyway, guys, that has been this week's edition of South Florida Comedy Calendar. Until next week, thank you so much for watching and keep laughing.